What's going on, guys? Welcome to week 2 of the First and Goal pregame show. I am your host, Matthew Martinez, and let's go. We're going to start off with our kickoff to the week, the storylines heading into week number 2. First of all, got a few storylines I want to talk about. First things first, Michael Penix Jr. versus J.J. McCarthy, rematch from the national championship a couple years ago. First things first, J.J. McCarthy won the first matchup, the national championship. The Michigan Wolverines beat the Washington Huskies for the national championship with a final score of 34-13. And J.J. McCarthy was dominant in that performance. Yeah, I think this is going to be, like, we're going to go into some games of the week, and I think this has the potential to be the game of the week. For week 2, especially it's a primetime game, it's Sunday Night Football. The lights are the brightest, and it's two totally different teams. The Vikings versus the Falcons this year. The Falcons are coming off a loss to the Buccaneers, where Younghoe Koo pushed the ball wide right, and they're feeling the effects of it. And they're going to be ready to go and want some redemption, you might say, because they're feeling that loss, and they definitely need a chance at redemption. So I think Michael Penix Jr. Is gonna be hungry, and like it's gonna be the real deal. And I honestly think this is gonna be a fireworks type of game. I think it's gonna be back and forth. I think J.J. McCarthy, like you said, he looks sloppy in the first 3 quarters against the Bears last week, but he turned it up in the fourth quarter, and I think he's going to ride that wave of momentum into this week against the Falcons. But it's gonna be back and forth, and I just can't wait to see it. The second storyline going into week 2 is Daniel Jones legit, or is he a fraud? Okay, Daniel Jones last week, he had a great performance against the Miami Dolphins, so much so he was the TWSN Player of the Week this week. Do I agree with that? No, but that's besides the point. Daniel Jones had a great performance, 391 yards and 1 touchdown against a Miami defense who was hurting for people legitimately. He went up against a defense. He went up against a team that barely had a defense. Can he duplicate the same performance against a team that has a legitimate defense, right? Because he's going up against a team like the Broncos, who probably have one of the better defenses in the league. Patrick Surtain is probably top 5 best cornerbacks in the league right now, top 3 arguably. And I'm very excited to see how he performs against the Denver Broncos going into week 2. It's going to be a way tougher matchup going up against a team that has a legit defense versus a team that barely has a defense. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. All right, the third storyline kind of going into week number 2 is a Super Bowl rematch, Eagles versus Chiefs. This matchup honestly doesn't excite me at all. I don't really want to. I'm not going to pay attention to this matchup to be honest, because here's a couple things. One, I think the Chiefs Super Bowl window has closed. I think they are probably like on the downslide of what once was, right? A team that has a lot surrounding it as far as off the field, like not even issues but storylines off the field. Teams tend to not do well on the field, like, because there are so many distractions, so many things going on that they're not really focused on the field. But I could be wrong. But I think that their window for the Super Bowl has closed. Probably be a first. I think another bold prediction. We're gonna get to bold predictions at the end. I don't have this one in my notes. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. I think there could be a first round exit this year. So yeah, that's just that. And again, the Eagles are the defending Super Bowl champs. But like I said, this game doesn't excite me at all. The Chiefs are a shell of what they once were. Travis Kelce Swift is gonna be too busy focused on other things. They don't really have a solid weapon, like, Xavier Worthy's out now. And like all these, like they have a bunch of different things going around the Chiefs organization and the Chiefs team, like injuries or just not having solidified a solid number one receiver, whatever the case may be. I think it's definitely closed for the Chiefs and for the Eagles team that needs to get their receivers going, and they need to spread the love around a little bit. Their offense started off slow a little bit against the Dallas Cowboys last week, but I think it's just gonna be. I think the Eagles are gonna win, but it's just gonna be. This game doesn't excite me at all. Watching it, even thinking about it on paper. So now we're gonna get into our game time of the week. This is the segment of the show where I pick my favorite games or what the games that I'm looking out for. At each slot, the 1 o'clock game, 4 o'clock game, and the primetime game. The Bills versus the Jets for the 1 p.m. game is the game that I'm looking out for this week. The storylines are kind of endless with this one. Is the Josh Allen coming from behind victory against the Ravens? Can he continue that momentum going into week 2? Jets only had a 2-point loss against the Steelers. Justin Fields played really well, 16 for 22, 218 yards, and 1 touchdown, and most importantly, 0 turnovers. So they put up 32 points, and that literally would have beaten every other team in the league except the Steelers, who put 34 up, which is actually except for the Ravens and Bills. But you get my point. Like, the majority of the league would have lost to the Jets leading week 1. So I think the Bills versus the Jets is going to be just a good old-fashioned shootout, and I'm very excited. I'm very intrigued to watch that matchup. For the 4 p.m. game, it's the Broncos versus the Colts. Like I said, is Danny Dimes going to replicate what he did against last week against the Miami Dolphins, or are we going to see the old Daniel Jones from the Giants? I want to say, I really do want him to see him succeed, but I really don't think we're going to. Especially again against a legitimate defense. It's a completely different ball game, and so I think it's going to be Daniel Jones. Like, he may be able to, but only time will tell. And for the primetime games, I have the Commanders versus the Packers. I want to say the Bucks Houston, the Bucks versus the Texans, but I'm just not gonna go there this week. I'm gonna go with the Thursday night football game, Commanders versus Packers, and here's the reason why: is because this is the first legitimate Thursday night football game that I'm actually excited to watch, because it has two legit teams, two teams that are undefeated and ready to go. Like, Thursday night games are usually the Giants Browns, or like the Saints versus whoever, like whatever other team, whether it's like Saints Seahawks that have no, like, whatever the case would be, like two terrible teams going at it on Thursday night. Like, that's usually what it's. But this time it's Commanders versus Packers, so two teams who I actually are very excited to watch this game. This is the first test for Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels went up against the New York Giants team last week and beat them, and by a lot. And then the Packers looked great against the Lions. They excelled in all three phases of the game, so I'm very excited to see the Commanders versus the Packers, Jaden Daniels versus the Packers defense and Micah Parsons, and Jordan Love. How can he command the offense and command the control of the game going into week 2 against the Commanders. So that's all I have for this week's segment of Game Time. Now we're gonna go into our fantasy football segment of the show, and I'll just be honest with you, I went 1 for 3. I had 4 fantasy leagues. I won 1 of them. I lost 3 of them. It's not the best. Not the brightest moment of my life with his fantasy football teams. Like, all of them let me down. Last week, like CJ Stroud let me down. I put Michael Pittman Jr. on my bench when he put 20 points up. That could have helped me out. Literally, I drafted Drake London, who got injured. I'd also drafted George Kittle, who got injured, and all these different, people that should have went off but didn't, or I didn't expect to go off but did. So this week I put in Michael Pittman Jr. into the lineup. I also put in I traded for some people. I traded for Travis Etienne. I also traded for DK Metcalf, who I put in my starting lineup. I am very excited for this outcome for this week. I'm very excited to see, because I'm projected to win all four of my leagues this week. So I'm very excited. Hopefully this will be a start of a run for me. Hopefully I can end up in the championship. Hopefully. All right. So now we're gonna end it with our bold predictions for this week. Very, very simple. Daniel Jones is going to be back to his old self. I think it really wasn't. It wasn't fully New York, but Daniel Jones had. I don't think he's a good quarterback at all. And he's going to show it. He's going to show signs of his old self against the Denver Broncos this week. So, and if you want to look at my official picks for this week, it is already on my Instagram. It's going to be on my TikTok here in a few minutes. But go check that out. Play along. It's the First and Goal Pick'em series that I do on my Instagram, on my social media. Play along. I picked 5 games from week 2. I give my best shot at predicting them. Last week I went 3-2. And I want to see if I can build on that and see where I end up at the end of the season. I was very close with the Bucks-Falcons game. I predicted the Bucks to win 24-21. We ended up winning 23-20. So I was very close on that one. I was 2 points off total. I just want to see if I'm any close with any one of these going into week 2. So like and subscribe if you're new here. If you like the content, if you mess with it, share it with somebody. We're gonna have a good time. The newest articles that I have written are gonna be in the link below. Also, the power rankings that we have for TWSN are out now for week 2. We have a new number 1, which is the Bills, and after their comeback win against the Ravens last week, it is going to be exciting. Week 2, the NFL is back in full swing, and week 2 is about to kick off here in a few hours. So, yeah, love you guys. See you on the next one. Peace.